So, guys, one of my next questions to follow up on is who is the MVP of this movie for you, and I have just two people that I want to spend some minutes talking about, and you could probably choose two people or one person who you think is your MVP. They are Gamora and Thor. So Gamora is once again for the reason that this was the best acting I've seen Zoe Saldana did in any one of the Marvel movies. Like from the beginning when they meet Thor and she's all touching on his hand, from when she's telling the story about how Thanos got her, from when she realized that oh fuck, she knows where the stone is, to when she killed Thanos and she just wailed. You could see the brutal impact of like having bad parents, but you still love them.
They're your parents.
They're your parents at the end of the day, and that played nicely because he talked to her and she's being this rude child after you take her, but you could see that she still loved him, right? And her reaction with Nebula, and then her reaction just before she died, realizing as she looked into Thanos' face that oh shit, he really did love me. Like, I did all of these things, but he really did love me, and then to have her died, like, that was one of the events that impacted me the most. But Thor, I think, have to take the cake for me in this movie, because his journey from Thor to the dark shit world, to the fun-filled Ragnarok, to this movie, but just once again, just like Tony Stark, epic progression to where you felt his pain. They given him an opportunity to like talk about everything that he lost, and then he had this big heroic moment of getting back his new armor, Stormbringer, and then coming down, crashing down into Wakanda, and then like,
ooh, that was such an entrance.
Oh, that was such an entrance, and to have him come this close to killing Thanos. You should have aimed for my head. Oh, he took the cake.
You know what's funny? I always think that in almost every movie that I see someone get shot, it's like, why is everyone aiming for the chest? Why does no one ever
aim for the head?
Shoot for the head. I don't.
Shoot him in the head! You're MVP of this movie.
When you say MVP, can you kind of elaborate?
Just most valuable player, like the person who impacted you, like you think contributed the most towards
the success of the movie. As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So I guess you could say I do have two picks. One. Clang. I definitely think it was Doctor Strange. Not only did he contribute some of the best visuals in the movie.
Oh, those bands of sellers.
It just all of his visuals were just every time he was
I was gonna say when you talked about Doctor Strange earlier, I love the fact that that kept his elements of his visual in this movie. Continue.
Yeah. But yes, I just felt like not only was he just visually impactful, but he was such a neutral in a lot of ways. His neutrality was like he played well with no matter what team he was put in. He played well with no matter what group of characters he was amongst because he had a purpose. I think of all the people in the movie, he to me was the one, he was like almost like a secret narrator because especially after the scene where he kind of saw all the possibilities, he let things play out as it was. So us as the audience, we're just like, oh my God, what's happening? But for Doctor Strange, it was like, this has to happen. So even that moment when he like sacrifices the time stone and Tony's like, why? He's like, we're in the end game now. He didn't say I had to. He didn't say anything like it was the only way I could save you guys. It was him saying like, that's it.
Yeah,
like even like prior to him dying, when he probably knew, he probably could see himself dying. He was like, that was it. Like this is how things have got to go. So in a lot of ways, he narrated the movie after a certain point. My second person, though, most like honorable mention again to Zoe Saldana as Gamora because she never really stood out to me as a character. In this movie, it was
Thanos and her movie, and everybody else was just along for the ride.
She really was. I think the other character is definitely going to be for me Tony Stark. He'd been doing these movies for the longest. And
that's fucking years.
For 10 years to be as consistent with a character as he has been, and have it all come down to this moment where every subsequent movie he'd been in, you saw it. You saw everything he went through in every movie he had ever stepped foot in, from Spider-Man to Avengers to his own. Every little thing that has happened to him, it played a part in this movie, and it showed. It showed. His growth and development absolutely showed. It even showed, ironically enough, in his suit. Because by this point in time, we had never seen his suit be able to just morph the way it did.
It's morphin' time!
And much like his suit, Tony has morphed in a lot of different ways. And so I honestly felt like they've kind of updated his suit with him. And this was like the ultimate version of Iron Man and the ultimate version of Tony Stark.
Well, no pun intended, it was the ultimate version of Iron Man and Tony Stark.
We're gonna edit that out. But he really did carry for me. But also another honorable mention, kind of a questionable choice, but I thought Thanos, of all the characters, Thanos had the most resolve. I'm so sorry.
No. So let's talk about the villain. We mentioned him earlier in the discussion, but like, let's actually go more deep into Thanos and like your overall opinion. So I already mentioned my opinions on him on the spoiler review already, and I find him to be a very compelling villain. I find they give him a real human touch to him. And I like the fact that he didn't really actually kill anybody. The fact that, he did kill a lot of people. He did snap his fingers and kill like half the
If you want to call him killing it,
But what I mean is that he wasn't like a murderous rampage villain that, oh my god, I gotta kill everybody, ha ha ha. Like one of those, like...
Disney villains?
Disney, I was gonna say James Bond, but yeah. Disney villain, like, He was in agony that he had to do it. Like, this was a task to him. This wasn't something that he wanted to do. This was something more like he had to do because in his head, he felt that, wiping out half of the population of the universe will give the universe a better chance to survive in the long run. For some weird reason, because he could have just used the stone to probably create more food and more resources. But that's a plot point.
Well... I mean, with that,
what do you think?
I don't think that's a plot point because what he said is, I'm paraphrasing, but where there is, resources, there's population. So if he would have created more resources, there would have just been more problems. More money, more problems. The situation. So he his resolve, and for the record, his resolve is also not permanent. It's basically what's known as a culling, okay? If anyone knows what that word is, it's when you have too much of something, you have to limit it so that it could restart again. It's a culling, okay? And when you do that, it only lasts for so long. So even his resolve in a way was kind of flawed. However, it would have probably, weighing out in his own mind, it would have led to a more long-term, sustainable resolution than say a finite one such as overabundance.
Because he did tell he did tell Gamora that if she ever been back to her planet, like
when she got her, I was like, bloop, gotcha, bitch.
Like, they're not living hand to mouth anymore. Like,
the look on her face when he said that they're living successfully, she was like, damn it.
Damn it. She was so... Well, she had a few damage when she was like, you kidnapped me, blah blah blah. And you see evil, and you told her like, yeah, but I made you the strongest woman in the universe. So, like,
debatable.
Okay, debatable. I was like Captain Marvel.
Compared to who?
No, but what I mean is like she is super strong. She is super powerful in strength wise, but she have some real skills. So.
Yeah, she can fill out a W-2. She's really great at making lasagna from scratch. Great.
Girl, the shade of it all.
No, but as Thanos as a villain, I actually like the fact that when you're first introduced to him in Guardians, I believe was on his first.
Well, at the end of Avengers, but mostly in Guardians.
Yeah, he came off a certain way. I mean, he looked better. But I'm not gonna touch on that.
Let's touch on this after you finish it.
But he came off a certain way that you just thought to yourself, oh, this is just gonna be one of those villains, But when you actually saw him, I want to point out, for all of those who thought Thanos was like such an evil guy, He had the power of the Infinity Stones, and not once did he actually kill anyone with them, though he could have easily done so. When you have the Infinity Gauntlet, yes, he could have snapped his fingers when he had them all, but they had already made it very clear that once he had 2, he was already the most powerful, being in the universe. Once he had 2. Like, he could have stopped right there if he wanted to go on a murderous rampage. He didn't. He collected them. He literally collected them, and the only person who he killed unwillingly was
Loki.
Loki, but was Gamora, but Loki was Loki, and that was honestly because Loki tried him twice. He was warned twice, he got tried twice, and Thanos gives everyone the same option. Even prior to killing Tony Stark, there was really nothing from stopping Thanos from killing Tony Stark and then just taking the fucking stone from Doctor Strange. He said, if you spare him, I will give up the stone. And he's like, no tricks. No tricks. So Thanos is a fair man. Like, he's ain't thing.
I totally agree. Star-Lord. So I totally agree with the fact that if he wanted, he could have killed him easily. And what I liked what they did in this movie as opposed to what they did in the comics. The comics, Captain America and them, convinced them to not to use the power of the stone and to fight them on an equal footing, which he still kicked their ass. But in this, his compelling thing was that he don't need the power of the stones to kill them, because he could kill them just as is. But the thing is, he left it all up to chance. He left it all up to fate. Like, if you're gonna die, it's not by his hand, but it's by, if fate wills it.
He says impartial.
Yeah,
it's an impartial.
He don't make the decision unless you fuck with him.
He gave Loki twice. He really did give Loki 2 times.
Gamora, the only reason he killed Gamora, he didn't want to, but the only reason he killed Gamora is because to get to what he needed to do in the end, to get to his goal. Our superheroes could have killed their friends if they wanted to protect half of the universe, but they didn't do it. Now, I'm saying that and I'm hearing the villainy in my heart being like, oh my god, I can't believe that's coming out. But that's it. 3 lives for the lives of trillions.
I mean, also, to be fair, like, what's her name? This chick. Gamora's sister. What's her name? Nebula. Nebula attempted to kill Thanos, and he said she almost did it. And he still kept her alive. Now, he didn't know what she knew. He had no idea prior to her trying to kill him that she knew
that Gamora found the soul.
So the fact that he kept her alive, there were so many characters he could have killed, but he didn't. So you really have to give him credit. Now, what I also have to say is we need to be very clear about what this movie was. Okay?
It isn't.
This movie was the movie for the Soul Stone. So every movie, more or less, centered around a stone. There were, 6? 6, right? 6, yes. There were 6, and every major movie centered around a stone. Up until now, we all thought the Soul Stone might be in Wakanda. Wrong. But we all thought Soul Stone had to do with Wakanda and things of that nature. So when we were like, oh, then it's not in Wakanda, maybe it'll be revealed in the next movie, we were wrong about that too. This movie was a movie about the Soul Stone because no other stone really had much detail go into it in this movie, with the exception of the Soul Stone, the whole heart-wrenching scene with Gamora. So this was a movie about the Soul Stone. So being that was the case, this was technically Thanos' movie. I mean, if that was the case, if you really look at it and that as an abstract, that the Soul Stone, this was the Soul Stone movie, he was the main character, and his mission was technically, you could flip the whole movie on its head and say that his mission was the right mission and not everyone else were the villains. It was even kind of further kind of overstated at the end when it didn't say the Avengers will be back in Infinity War 2.
Once again,
it said Thanos will return in Avengers. So, and they only ever do that when it's that person's main movie. So, give me a second.
Okay.
So looking at it as an abstract, yes, I honestly feel like this was Thanos' movie, and that moment with Gamora was his big moment.
Yeah, his hero moment where he had to make the
He made the
choice.
sacrifice, yeah.
Well, according to Proud Turtle, he was the hero in this movie and he was the villain.
He was only the villain because his rationale was extreme.
Yeah, no, but if you really look at the hero journey, he was the person that went on the hero journey to find the MacGuffin, to like stop the end of the universe in his mind, and our heroes was the people trying to stop him from achieving his goal. And I love the fact that they flipped that on his head. They did what they did in Black Panther, where you know they flipped the movie when Killmonger was walking in that shot. But this entire movie was that was that moment where you know the villain. You could see the movie through the villain eyes, and a lot of movies don't give us that. A lot of movies, you know, our heroes always win. In this movie, no, our heroes lost and the villain succeeded, and he succeeded with a smile on his fucking face, like.
That's what he said he was gonna do.
And he literally said he's going to watch the sunrise on a grateful universe. And he watched the sunrise on a great,
arrogant to say. You just killed half of the people in the universe. I don't think anyone else is like, thank you, Thanos. Like,
alright, so let's
especially on Gamora's planet when you already did that shit. So imagine they're like living their happy lives going like, you know what, Thanos is right. And then suddenly half the people disappear again. They're like, God damn it, Thanos. So.
Okay, so just to touch on a few other topics, what was the best moment of the movie? Blank said Thanos rocking. Okay, I think he meant fucking. Thanos fucking destroying half the world. Danny James 10 said when the train passed and Captain America appeared. Oh my god, he looked so hot when the train passed and he just appeared behind the train.
He was pretty.
He was pretty hot. You were just saying that just now, like you know how hot he looked, awesome, cute as you call him. Emperor said Doctor Strange versus the battle with Thanos. So that was pretty nice when he did the hand thing, and you know the whips comes out.
Yeah, they said that those red whips are
the bands of Sataras. We're not comic book geeks.
I am, but I'm not going to there.
When Groot makes the hammer, when Groot makes the new handle for Stormbreaker, I was moved. When Stan-Lord died, I cheered. This Proud Turtle really hates Stan-Lord. Really but what you talked about that moment? What you talk about Groot in this movie?
What did I think about Groot? I think it's sad that we saw him die in the first movie, come back and basically do nothing in the second.
Was a cute baby. Sold a lot of toys.
Sure. And then we see him as a teenager to basically die again. And you're just like, Jesus, Groot just cannot catch a break. But I do think that little moment of him like lifting the axe up and then cutting a little hand off, that was pretty epic, I must admit. It was pretty awesome.
Okay, so I guess if only the person who's worthy could have the power to lift the hammer, I think that won't apply to him because
technically it was not completed.
It wasn't,
and nor did it really have the blessing of Odin.
Okay, so no, it won't really apply technically.
Yeah, it was it wasn't the same weapon. It could do the same thing as the Bifrost, so it wasn't the same weapon. It so happened to have been able to do the same thing as the Bifrost. Yay. But it wasn't the same weapon.
Okay, so we both enjoyed the movie. We both loved the movie.
Oh, what I loved about this movie, another thing that I loved about this movie, and I point this out to you, is the fact that they didn't drop the fucking ball in their other universes. So they were juggling all this stuff together. A lot of people might have been thinking to themselves, I don't know, Shang is his name? Yes, the Asian guy. Shang, you're invited. Chan.
Wong.
I don't want to mess this up.
Yo, let's do this again. Rewind.
What's his name?
Wong,
okay. So, a lot of you may not have realized this, but Marvel did such a phenomenal job balancing out the universes they had already established. So, a lot of people were probably thinking, once all this shit went down with Doctor Strange
and the streets of New York.
Everyone's probably thinking, so well, why isn't Wong lending a hand? And he said, the sanctum is unguarded. I've got to go guard the sanctum. that was a moment that a lot of people overlooked. That was a moment of saying that, listen, just because of what's happening here in this universe does not mean that what's happening, what our Doctor Strange's job and my job to guard reality has stopped. Could you just imagine, had Wong decided to actually leave and join forces and do all this stuff, and the Sanctum remained unguarded? For any of you guys who watched the Doctor Strange movie, you know what his goal is. You know what his job is. He is not a hero in the traditional sense of the Avengers where they're fighting like space invaders and blah, blah, blah. He said to Tony Stark, I guard your reality. There are demons and all kind of other shit in the Marvel Universe that a lot of people don't even realize that that's Doctor Strange's job. He literally stepped out of his own canon, his own universe, into the Avengers world to help fight their war. However...
Well, because he had the attention.
Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is, the most impactful thing that a lot of people needed to realize was that Wong, that character, their job is just as important.
Yeah.
And for him to step away from what was happening and say, listen, the Sanctum is unguarded, I've got to go do this. I thought that was a really good job of showing that how big the universe is that they have built.
I think, just jumping on that, I think a lot of people forget that we live in a world where one thing could happen in one spot and you really don't hear about it for weeks or months on end. Even though we have the internet, you really don't hear about it. So a lot of people complain that why Jessica Jones or Daredevil or some of the other characters are not seen so much in Marvel Universe. Like, it's not needed. Like, passing reference is okay, because not everybody is going to be involved in every big thing. And once again, I love the fact how they just name dropped in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that, oh yeah, Thanos is attacking your planet right now. Like, that's it. That's it. Like, they don't need to be there because they have their own mission going on. But yes, when he snapped his finger and half the world died, they have to deal with it because half of their characters need to die. But the fact is that everything could exist in one universe and we don't need to really see it all the time. So Tia, one of the biggest questions is, how does this stack up against Justice League?
Is that really a question? I don't think that's fair. I
There's some DC fanboy really hating on the movie.
Of course, some DC fanboys are really hating on the movie. I'd hate on the movie too if I just saw something so amazing compared to the bullshit that I've been forced fed up at this point in time. Yeah, you put shit in front of me for 20 years and some asshole that I hate is eating cake, I'm gonna say, well, my bullshit tastes like cake too. So
your bullshit tastes like cake?
I mean...
Let's not even go down that road. Go ahead.
No, this is what I said. Literally immediately after the movie, well, not literally immediately after, I had to find words, on the ride home, my feelings almost instantly shifted to the DC universe, cinematic universe. And I said to myself, if I were DC, if I were the people responsible for the DC universe at this point, after seeing that, after seeing Black Panther, but after seeing
Thor Ragnarok,
after seeing the Infinity Wars, I would issue a statement. I would have a press release and I would issue a statement to my fans. I say, hi, this is going out to all of the fans of the DC universe. We just finished watching the Infinity War for the 6th time, and we've come to the conclusion that you guys deserve better. You guys absolutely deserve well-developed characters. You guys deserve top-notch CGI. You guys... I'm sorry, I'm getting a call. You guys deserve a movie and a cinematic universe that you can be proud of, that you can brag about, that you can watch over and over again and not have to be saddled with so many flaws. With that being said, we have decided that we are going to scrap what we have done and we are going to start from scratch. We beg for your, patience as we rebuild our universe from the ground up, giving you guys all those things that you deserve, especially now having seen what superhero movies can be and what we have the potential to create. We are going to do better for you. And I would leave it at that, mic drop. Because quite honestly, the DCU fans deserve that. I mean, I am a Marvel fan, but I see the significance and the importance behind Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash. I mean, the whole entire Justice League, all those characters are great characters in and of themselves, and they deserve good movies. They deserve not to be retconned into oblivion because you just can't get it right. They deserve a studio who's willing to give them the time, the money, and the proper execution so you can see them on the big screen and be proud and not be like, oh God. Like, they have so many great stories, so many great scenarios. They have so many equal, stories to tell to what Marvel's already done. They deserve to have that portrayed. And I don't think it would be wrong for the fans to say, like, okay, you know what?
What?
If you're going to do this properly, I am willing to start over with you. And I personally think that's what they should do, because let's be real. Ask yourself, as a DC fan who genuinely enjoyed Infinity War, ask yourself, is there any movie that DC is going to put out at this point that is going to compare to what you just saw?
Nope.
Do you really think Aquaman is going to come to, not even put Infinity War aside?
If Aquaman is just going to keep that, they haven't to talking that bubble bullshit. Nope.
I mean, with the CGI and everything, do you really think Aquaman is going to do what even fucking Black Panther did? Probably not. Do you think that, what other movie are they really coming out with?
Wonder Woman 2.
Wonder Woman 2. Their only title that has done decent, and I'm not talking about it was rave reviews. That shit flew by. That was like taking a test and cramming the night before, and like, holy shit, I passed. That's what Wonder Woman was.
That was like going, like comparing that you got a degree from Harvard to 1 year college online.
I mean, that's getting a good job on a degree from ITT Technical Institute and being like, well, shit. Wow. So, like, Wonder Woman wasn't bad, but it's certainly nothing to brag about.
It wasn't as great as people praise it to me. But that's like going into detail.
But the point I'm trying to make is, when you compare the two universes, there is no comparison. One took time, one took effort, one had the financial, put their money in the right place, the investment in the right actors, the investment in the right stories, and ultimately just it took time. Like, if you really want to compare the two universes, the one thing that one has the other doesn't is clear. And time.
But it goes hand in hand, because the fact that DC is solely owned by Warner Brothers, right? And for years, and they've been the dominant house of the superhero movie genre. And then Marvel came out and started to give them a run for the money. And Marvel was broke. They were bankrupt. But they insisted, you know what, we're going to use the crappy B-list characters that we have to develop this narrative. And develop with this over an initial 4-year period from Iron Man to Avengers. And then from from Avengers to Infinity War. And
you got to be clear, Iron Man was never really one of Marvel's top. Like, it wasn't. For them to start this whole thing off with Iron Man, that was a risk in of itself.
That's all they had. They was lucky to get Hulk back from Universal. They scrapped everything they had planned when Sony was like, we fucked up with Spider-Man, could you do it better? They were like, hell yeah. And going forward with the future of the MCU, because this is one thing that I want us to end on before going over the ranking of all the Marvel movies. That's going forward with the future of the MCU. Like, we have the Fox Sony deal that is coming up. The Fox Marvel deal, the Fox Disney deal that is coming up right now. Fucking Disney, like, I am scared because I love what they're doing with the existing characters, and I don't want them to mess it up.
When you say the existing,
the existing roster minus everything that Fox did, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and Deadpool.
They've made the promise that they're going to allow whatever projects are on the table now. They're going to allow it
to continue. But no, what I was getting at is that, but yet still I'm excited because they have proven to me over the last 10 years that they know how to tell a story, and they know how to at least give us a A- movie.
Yeah.
Okay, a B.
Honestly, I think even their worst movie was entertaining. Like, I think there's a clear divide on movies that were great and movies that were entertaining, but I don't really think there was a movie that was bad. Now, you guys might crucify me for this, because I'm going to crucify myself. I didn't actually watch Thor Underworld?
The Dark World.
The Dark World. I didn't actually watch Thor The Dark World, mostly because I was never really, I wasn't really that interested in the Thor movies, period. Thor is not really my favorite character, and so just the way he was executed in the first movie just didn't grab me enough to watch the second, though I'm probably going to watch it now, because that's where the, what stone was it?
The reality.
The reality stone was in, so I would definitely like to see how that... I mean, I heard the movie wasn't great, but it's still...
Well, I want you to finish your point, but I just want to clarify something. They did a lot more with the reality stone in this movie than they did
They
in
also
Thor.
did a lot more in this movie with the, all the stones.
Well, not really. Like, the reality stone powers are totally different from what they use it in Thor. But you should definitely see the movie. Like,
yeah, I mean,
the
I want
movie
to
is not
see
as
it.
bad as people make it out to me.
That's the point, though. That's the point. There is really no bad Marvel movie that, or at least for the 10-year progression, there really isn't a bad movie. You can't point to one of the movies and be like, oh god, that movie was horrible, like you can with the MCU or the DCU. But you can point out to the fucking DCU and be like, that's a bad movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, let's do a countdown. I mean, a Suicide Squad. That was a bad movie. I'm sorry. It was a bad movie.
Okay, this is not a DC review. So that's it for the review for today, guys. Once again, thank you for watching. I know it was very long.
I have a tendency to talk. But you know what?
It's a good discussion,
It's
okay?
a good discussion.
And once again, type down below if you want to see more of this beautiful face here on screen,
Oh my God.
or if you don't want it to be here, and I can just keep her out of my reviews from now on.
God.
Or if you guys don't want me to be here either, because, she probably does a better job than me.
And we'll be definitely talking about more movies in the future. If there are any movie that you'd like us to watch and review, please let us know, because Insights is what we do.
I know, like any movie, like A Quiet Place. We need to watch A Quiet Place.
I heard things.
I heard things.
Ironic, isn't it?
Once again, guys, thanks for listening to us. This has been
Tia.
You could follow her on Instagram at
VLCUSP. That's me, VLCUSP, or my Facebook, which I don't know if I want to give that out, but it's my name.
and you can find me at IamZ3D on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat.
And I might just start my own YouTube channel. I don't know.
Okay, goodbye. Alright?
Your fucking fake ass of coil beans.
Leave my pic as a Koyo bees, okay? I could be that's so tiny and it barely shows up on screen. Okay, guys, welcome back. Okay, so let's talk about the villain. We mentioned him earlier in the discussion, but
Continue.
okay. Let's